Welcome back, everybody. Another good video here. This will be interview with Mr. Gray, part 3, I think it is. I'll make sure School Baby gets the numbers right when she posts it up. Same disclaimer, nothing intended for illegal purposes. We're talking about history. We're talking about past knowledge and experience, all that stuff, man. So I'm happy to introduce my good friend, Mr. Gray. How you doing, Joe?
I'm good, man. Here we go again.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking it, man. They ask for you all the time. When are you gonna do another one? So I tell you, we'll do it. We'll do it again. Just scheduling, and I got other stuff I gotta post. People sometimes they donate to me, and they want a topic, so I'll cover it. I might.
Richard, just blows my mind. People want to listen to two old farts like us.
I feel the same way, man.
Yeah.
We ain't nothing special, but hey, we get.
We got something to tell them.
Yep, that's what it is. They
Yeah.
enjoy it, so I'm gonna keep doing it. But
Yeah.
let's talk. It's something me and you come up with, and even other people mentioned it. About dogs that just showed a lot of heart. Remember we were talking about that the other day.
Yes.
So
yeah.
Give us some of those, and I'll put my input too.
Yeah, we discussed talking about the gamest dogs. You'd never forget them if
There
you
you
seen them.
go.
It don't matter who they belong to.
There you go.
And somebody scripted you because you told me that they asked for a story about Grand Champion Tequila.
Right.
Okay, I'll start with Grand Champion Tequila. She'll be my first one I'll roll out there.
Alrighty.
And she was a bad bitch. And my buddy called me and he said, well, I got Senora hooked up. I said, good. He said, it's 28 and a half. I said, no, 27. Oh, it's okay. It's 28 and a half. I said, not with Senora, 27. Well, it's too late. I done got the forfeit down. I said, okay, I'll bring the 28 and a half. And nobody had ever seen this little bitch. I told you about her.
Right.
O2K refereed her match out west. But anyway, I brought her. And it was kind of funny because they was telling me, Ernesto Miranda, you met him.
Yep.
And Raul Andrade was partnered up and they was with, And Raul, he's pretty fluent in English, and he told me, I hope you'll kiss your little bitch Senora goodbye tonight. And I said, why? He said, oh, we're going to kill her.
Mm.
I said, I don't think so. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to kill her. I said, you ain't going to kill Senora, buddy. She's in Honey Island. He said, oh, no, Beyonce. I said, yeah, Beyonce 28 and a half, and Joe say, not Senora. Well, what do you got? I said, a 28 and a half pound bitch. And Richard, he told me, you surely gonna lose. And I told him, man, I'll bet you $1,000 that you're not gonna beat this bitch. I said, and I bet you another $1,000 if y'all don't pick Tequila up, I'm gonna kill her. Oh, no. And I didn't have no money, so I went to Mickey Mouse. Hell, his pocket is always up past his ears.
Right.
And I told him what I bet, and he said, why didn't you just fucking throw him my wallet? I said, I just made you $2,000. But nevertheless, at 20 minutes, he's got Tequila over there in the corner. She has broke down, brother. Everywhere. And she's screaming. And never took her eyes out of my corner. She's fighting Ernesto to look over there. And he faces her around, and they say, Pitt, Richard, she takes her nose. Nothing but her nose, brother. And she's humping herself across to me. And that's one of them times, like I say, you almost pass out. You can't believe the heart in that dog.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, and why did this have to happen?
Right.
Yeah. That was the very last time I matched into Ernesto because I told him I don't want to fight you no more.
Yeah.
No. Why? I said, because you're my friend and I want to keep it that way.
Right. That stuff like that just brings out emotions in you. Grown
Oh,
men be
yeah.
crying, the hair standing on the back of your neck or your arms and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
it wasn't even my dog, and I was about to pass
I
out
know.
looking at it coming at me.
I know it. I
That's
know
what I
it.
said. It don't matter who the dog belongs to. You got to give it to the dog.
Yeah, yeah, they deserve it. You know, in that respect, the dog itself don't care. You know, about the
Well,
people involved. They're doing what they was born to do,
yeah, just.
and you know, it's just amazing, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like that little champion Khaleesi. You know, she was.
Mm-hmm.
I had went the day before to OTK, you know, because he had to go to work and all that, and you know, do this and do that, walk her out and feed her and all this stuff, right? So I checked her, and
Mm-hmm.
she didn't. All her teeth were broken, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
so he comes home, and I tell him, hey, you know, he said, do everything. I said, yeah, I got it squared away, no problem. I go, but she ain't got no teeth. He goes, I knew you'd look, man. I said, yeah, you know I'm gonna look. And what had happened is she was in her pen, and she kept jumping up and grabbing the chain link fence, and that's what broke her teeth, you know. And man, you know, you saw it, Joe. She was a smaller dog, but she was faster. She had experience. You know, her first two wins were short, quick.
Was that on the pyramid, Richard?
Yeah, that was same night as Baja. And
She won that match at hell 30 minutes into it.
yeah,
Khaleesi did.
yeah,
Yes, that was one of the ones I was gonna bring up if you didn't.
yeah. Go ahead, speak
No,
your.
you brought her up. I don't have to. Yes,
Yeah,
that's a prime example. But there you go. That's that Ledesma blood too.
yep,
And
exactly.
it's strange how they run true to the families.
Yep, that.
True to the
Yeah,
families.
you know as well as I do that Ledesma stuff. They got heart, Joe. You know, we talked
Mm-hmm.
about
Yeah.
Tonky, and she was flip flopping and falling down and crying to get over there against Tomasa. You
There
know,
was plugs of meat big as 50-cent pieces laying in the floor out of
yeah,
Tonky's
right.
stifle.
Stifle.
Both
Yeah,
of them. Both of them.
yep. Both of them, exactly,
Mm-hmm.
and both of them didn't survive.
No,
And
she ate the ears off Tomasa.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's what I say. Them bitches, both of them dogs showed extremely game in that match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did. They did. And you know, there was a point. It was late in the fight, and Khaleesi was laid out, and the bitch was sitting over her, right? But Khaleesi was in hold, and me and
Mm-hmm.
OTK almost at the same time. That bitch licked Khaleesi on the ear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "I won," and I said, "You won." Right
Yeah.
there, right there, we knew, man, because she would just
Oh,
not quit, Joe. And
yeah.
scratches,
Oh, I was
she went right
cussing and
over.
raising hell, and he told me, I told him, Frank, call it. Goddamn fouls, man. He's throwing that dog out there at you. And he was.
Yeah.
And Frank said, I'm going to beat him anyway, huh?
Yep. Yep. He even
And
touched
that
her.
was,
He even like touched her on the head or the ear a couple of times, man. Like that
oh,
wasn't
he
gonna
did
do
all
nothing.
kind of shit.
Yeah.
He would, whenever they'd say face, he'd never quit moving. He'd spin around and throw that son of a bitch out of that corner.
Yeah. Yeah. And just
Yeah.
you know, that's to me that's a desperate move. You know, you see you're gonna lose, and you try to do whatever you can to cheat your way. But you
Well,
know, in
it
Khaleesi's
is.
case, it didn't matter, man. She did not.
No. Well,
She wasn't gonna give up.
OTK had confidence in what he put together, and he knew what he come with.
Yep. Yep.
You remember he told me I'm gonna beat him anyway in the law, in the drag. I'm gonna beat him,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he did.
He did. He did. Yeah.
He sets down a good damn dog, man. He sets some pretty game ass dogs.
Yeah.
Because I tell you what, that little dog we was talking about climbing the wall that time down there.
Yeah.
The next time she come out, she got fucking ground
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. That was
But
Daisy.
it was the same case. She won that match 25 minutes into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they kept fouling that dog out of the corner. And that was that's where I have issues, you know.
Right. Right. Yeah, that was Daisy. I seen her first one. She won her first one the same night. Uh,
Same
Salt,
day old
Salt
went.
won. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He took that dog's both shoulders out. Took him out.
Oh,
One.
Daisy?
No. Salt.
Or Salt,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, he was coasting along. Old Salt had my old partner grinning ear to ear. He had him a big old trophy coming till they dropped that little bitch.
Yeah.
When they dropped her, I said, partner, there went your trophy.
Your trophy,
Thanks, so Big Joe. I said, there went your trophy.
Yeah.
And when it was over, he said, I'm going to tell you, there ain't nothing ever going to beat that dog.
Yeah. We were sitting up in the kind of midway where he could sit down, you know.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as Daisy won, he said, you ain't going to beat that bitch, you know.
No, sitting up on the side of that damn canyon, whatever it was.
Yeah, the side of the hill or whatever.
Yeah, that was a pretty little river down in there, Richard. That was, you could have drank that water. It was that clean.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the town we was in, man, but that was beautiful. That was Morelia, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah. That's my favorite town, man. Morelia. It's beautiful there.
Hey, I've been a lot of places down south, and I believe if I was going to move down there and I could fluent and everything, I'd probably move right there. Hell, that's my kind of town. That's like stepping back 100 years.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's stone buildings, cathedrals, wrought iron, marble.
Very cool place. Remember that old church house was built in the 1500s. You and I discussed that thing. We was walking along it.
Yeah. You could even see part of the aqueduct. The Aztecs built there.
Yeah, it was cool, man.
Yeah. But Daisy's second one, Daisy's second one now, she got bit down a little bit, huh?
Oh yeah, on that next one.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that one.
That was one of them little gator dogs. Oh, it ate her up, man. Yeah. She was completely gone in her front end. But you know, and I'm not kicking my friends on the other side of the box over there, but they knew what they was doing, and Frank, or you know, he did too. He just wouldn't say nothing.
Yeah. How was Gizmo bred, and how was it Sonata? What was it? What was that one we just mentioned? I mean Tequila.
Oh, Tequila.
Yeah.
Tequila was she come from down south, man. That was Ernesto Miranda's bitch. I tell you what, she was a humdinger. She beat old Molly first. That I seen. She become a grand champion on Molly. Mickey Mouse did Molly.
Right.
And she broke both of Molly's front running gear. And Molly looked like a kangaroo rat going across.
And hopping.
Yeah. Huh?
Hopping, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and Molly was from that old Zeke Black Widow blood down there. Bred on one of my first Tonka bitches, Kitty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was she a daughter of Tonka?
Huh?
Was she a daughter of Tonka?
No, I had that come from breeding catfish back to his mama. The first two I got from Ronnie Anderson.
Okay.
I got Deke, Conan, Sonia, and Kitty. And then every dog I had behind that for the next probably 10 or 12 years had one of them 4 dogs in it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's some game stuff, man.
Well, we crossed them several ways. Yeah, like I say, they was game, but hell, they couldn't whoop nothing just straight up by themselves.
Yeah. Needed that
but
cross
I tell
in
you,
there.
some of the gamest son of guns you ever seen would come out of that. Like the first 2 we ever carried down south, and I tell you, we went 2 weeks ahead of time and bombed our dogs. But that was 2 game bitches right there.
Right.
That's how me and Mr. Morphine got to be speaking terms and associates.
Right. Well, since you brought that up about traveling, Joe, let's talk a little bit about that. Now you're the you and I've been down there several times. You know that, and even though I haven't done dogs myself, what I've seen is you guys used to get there 24 hours out, right?
Yeah. Well, let's see, 26, around 30 hours or so.
Okay, right.
I like to feed 26 hours out from playtime.
Right.
And I like to have my feet on the ground 3 hours or so before I have to feed.
Right.
At least.
Right.
You know, if it's 5 hours, or just depends on how the schedule works out getting there. But at least 3 to 4 hours there and feet on the ground before you feed them.
Right.
Then I feed, but Richard, what I don't do when I'm down there and up there, you didn't see me bring anything out that room.
Nope.
Because when I bring it out that room, I'm carrying it, and it ain't nobody out there looking, because I don't want it excited. I don't want it pulling. I don't want it doing nothing. I want to carry it right over here to this bush, and I want to set it down and let it do its business, and I'm going to pick it back up, and I'm carrying it back to the room, you know, or the box or whatever.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't want them burning any energy and wasting that key.
Burn anything.
Yeah.
But look, we went to 13,270 foot, brother.
Right.
And if you think that ain't a ploy, you better rethink. They think they can get us up that high above sea level, they got us over a barrel, brother. And you just got to be prepared and go do it, but don't go too quick.
Right.
Mm-mm.
I didn't see any negative effects from it the way you guys did it, you know. And that show we're talking about, that one you're talking about, Baja beat a champion in 32 minutes, and then the other OTK she beat a grand champion in 26 minutes, and Kesi went 217 to make her championship. So you have a range of times at that high level, and the thin air, none of that shit affected the dogs, Joe. And it's always been my contention is that they're not there long enough for any of that to disturb them, you know. And like you said,
our friend there, I told him that don't go down there no week ahead of time or 3 days ahead of time, and do not ever take him out and let him get excited and pull and all of that.
Right.
Because everything you lose there, you ain't getting back. And you know, I've been there a time or two, and I told you the only time I had a bad effect was going too early.
Yeah. And you were like, that was like 2 weeks, wasn't it?
Huh?
Wasn't that like 2 weeks early?
Yeah, I think so, in 1990.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Our first trip down there, JVA and me and Mickey Mouse, we scout our ass to Mexico City, and old Felix, you know, the old marathon runner in the Olympics, and Bayonne, them some bitches was in shape, brother. And they want to get up every morning, and we got to run out yonder into the desert of the lions, they called it, but that wasn't no desert.
Right.
It was a mountain with them big, huge sugar pines on it.
Mm-hmm.
And mostly straight up or straight down. And they running this damn trail, so hell, I got to run it with them, you know. But I was young then.
Right.
Yeah. Felix was older than me, but it ain't no way anybody could run with him.
He's a marathon runner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody asked me, I mentioned Gizmo, they wanted to know how Gizmo was bred.
Oh, Mo was her mama, which was 3/4 Tonka. And what I tell you that other part was, Effie and Bo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then the daddy to Mo was a littermate brother to Creel's Gator. And his name was Buster. All of them dogs were actually Stoots. It was Stoots Gator, Stoots Buster, Stoots Womp Womp, and Coke, because John Stoots, not Herbie Stoots.
Right.
John Stoops brought all 4 of them dogs out of Oklahoma when he come here.
Mm.
And I bred Mo to old Buster, the litter mate to Gator.
Right.
They was game, brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Gizmo's sister, Noogie,
Uh-huh.
she was another one. We lost her on that first trip down to Mexico when we went 2 weeks early.
Mm-hmm.
Game, bitch. She flopped across that box over and over.
Mm.
That's what I told you. That's when Morphine decided I was a pretty good old boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Had to be with dogs that game because I also lost that red-nosed bitch. That I had beat that daughter of Pistol Pete with her.
Mm-hmm. What was her name?
Ginger.
Okay.
That's when I met Rude Dog. He had the daughter of Pistol Pete named Hazel.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was going to tell you here the other day about how I met that son of a bitch. Was looking across the pit at him, and he become one of my very best friends.
Yeah. You're good people, man.
Yeah, he was, man.
Yeah.
Richard, he come here, I had hung my spurs up for a long period of time because I just got, burnout.
Yeah.
And Ray Dog come here, and he said, I want you to go with me. I said, where are you going? I'm going to San Antonio. Well, what are you going to do down there? He said, I got my match going on. I said, I ain't going, dog. I said, man, I'm trying to quit. And he said, nah, you got to go, and he on and on. And I said, I ain't going. And he had his old lady sitting at the table, and he said, come out here, man, I want to show you my truck. He had that badass truck. But we go out there, and he said, I'm going to tell you something. He said, one of the first son bitches I ever run into in Bulldogs was you. He said, and for some reason, me and you got along. He said, I may never have another match after this. And I said, you quitting? He said, no, cuz I'm dying.
Mm.
And he told me he had the cancer.
Right.
And I said, what are you going to do, Hoss? He said, oh, I'm going to smoke cigarettes and weed and paint cars till I die. And that's what he did.
Yeah.
But he went back to doing Bulldogs, and I went down there with him, Richard, and it's worse than dope, I tell you.
Mm.
It is.
Yeah.
I heard Mr. Dan Almendarez tell you that it's worse than dope.
Yes, sir. He sure did.
He's right.
Yeah.
That was another game-ass dog. I told you, down from Hardin Smoking Joe.
Right.
He threw a son named Blackie that young Jesse carried to a place in Mexico. We flew into a damn airport. I want to say it was Monterey. Back then, they didn't have sidewalks and stuff out there to the airplane.
Right.
They lit on the damn tarmac, and you come down them stairs and walked a half a mile over yonder to the damn, whatever they call it, where you go get your tickets and stuff.
Yeah.
And I want to say that was Monterey, but I know we went to a town called Atlacomulco, and they growed them mezcals.
Oh, yeah.
Not mezcals. What do they call them big old things?
Yeah, to make what they make tequila and
they make mezcal.
Mezcal. It's yeah. What the hell is it?
It's not it's a maguey.
Maguey. Yeah. There you go.
It's a maguey. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Man, they had miles and miles of them things planted in rows. But old Blackie, that son of that dog, Mr. Dan's, that Smoking Joe.
Right.
He went like 3 hours and 20 minutes to a draw and then scratched like it wasn't nothing to it.
Mm.
And if they hadn't, decided on a draw, I don't know that he could have scratched, because he's like, like that red-nosed bitch I had, Ginger, in Mexico City. She wasn't going to let go. She was going to die and hope, and it was my scratch.
Right.
Yeah, and I knew she was gonna die, and hoping her opponent ain't moved in fucking a half hour. Now, Noogie, she had a rougher go, 'cause she got ground up like meat, man.
I did a similar thing with Clayton Blood. He wasn't going to let go, Joe, and I just offered to, let's get the scratching started, and I'll scratch first. And we just rotate back and forth. No waiting for Idaho, nothing like that. They agreed to it. And because it was already over 2.5 hours, and I'm like, my dog, he's fresh, you know, even though he was hurt. He had punctures in his chest, and his chest was dragging the ground. OTK will tell you. But he wasn't letting go. So with a little bit of quick thinking, I said, well, shit, I'll scratch first. Let's get the scratching started and see what's up. I ended up winning. The other one quit, but it was a long time, man. And you know, some dogs, they're like that, Joe. They just ain't going to quit, man. They ain't going to let go. That's it. And they, like I said, they'll stay and hold and die right there.
They had already scratched several times apiece. But it was my scratch. But it was down to we ain't moving, and she was laying there with what I told you I call a Zeke coat in the left bicep. And she was gone to sleep, and the other dog was just rattling. Yeah. You know, it hadn't moved, but I could see, I knew it was my scratch, and she ain't going to let go.
Right.
And by the time she does let go, she ain't going to be able to scratch. And that was a 3-hour deal, right? You know, with just 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
It was some awesome matches that day, too. That was our very first trip down south. Yep.
What else? Who else was on that card?
Negra Tomasa beat a dog out of South America in like 3 minutes.
Jeez.
Road Warrior beat a dog in about 9 minutes. Oh, that's another game-ass dog. Was that somebody that beat Road Warrior?
Tell us about it.
Well, you know the little man, I seen a Mexican video on him, one of the top dog men in Mexico, Mario what? Little bitty short guy. He lived over there around Monterey. He died here a while back.
Gutierrez? No.
He had that dog named Goros.
The Andy Bolillo's brother?
That was Goyos, wasn't it?
Oh, Goyos. Yeah, you're right. Yep, Goyos.
Goros, Goros. That was Mario's dog.
Okay.
But, yeah, shit, that was a game dog, too, man. He stopped that Road Warrior dog. I tell you, it was the same damn show that son of Almendarez is Smoking Joe quit.
Blackie?
Yeah, the same show that Blackie was in. Mario's dog beat the Road Warrior dog.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And Mario knew what he had because he told Antonio, he said, first I'm going to make your king cry, then I'm going to make him quit. Well, I know you know the guy's name, Mario's last name.
Yeah, I'm just, forget, man. When
He's a little short guy. He ain't much over 5'2", maybe.
Yeah. I can picture him.
Well, him and his wife did a video about, you know, his dogs and stuff.
Yeah.
I seen it on YouTube looking for some of yours.
Yeah, at that time in that video, he had white hair, huh?
Yeah.
I think I've mentioned him before. It was said, I don't know if it's true. It was said he was behind like 400 matches, man. You know. And you know.
Well, he's been at it a while down there. I know that.
Yeah. And
I guess they do a lot more down there than we did.
Well, back in the day, I knew they was doing something in more than several places every weekend. Whether it was a single show or a big convention, they had conventions all over, you know. There was a time I was going down there, and sometimes it'd be just one show. We go over here and do that. Sometimes it'd be 3 or 4. Sometimes it'd be 16, you know.
Well, they started them convincing mundials.
Mm-hmm.
I forget about in what year they started that.
Yeah. That, in Spanish, for those that don't know, Convención Mundial means world championships, world convention.
World convention.
Yeah, world. Yeah.
And that's what I told you about, meeting people from all over the world, man. Because Mr. Morphine put that out, and I tell you what, I won every match I ever put in a world convention. I won.
Yeah. Well, name some of the dogs you used in them conventions, Joe.
Hell, I can't remember, man. Probably one of them was Hoodie.
Okay.
And Hoodie was something else. She was a littermate sister to that little bad killing, the one I killed Tequila with.
Okay.
And I never rolled Hoodie. She belonged to JVA Hope, and she was parked at Mickey Mouse's while Jay was overseas working. And Antonio come up, and I guess they rolled her or something, and he said she's worth her weight in gold. So JVA Ho got her here, you know, and we hooked that bitch up. And the guy you met on the pyramid that knew me so long.
Right.
That's who I was matched into, Richard.
Okay.
You know? And anyway, we let him go. And buddy, he nailed me right between my feet. I'm saying, what the hell is going on here, you know? But they is scrapping on there, but Hoodie was rough. My God, she'd eat you up. And dadgum, his dog turned. It turned. Well, there wasn't much to it. He grabbed him a handle, and I didn't care. Let him handle, you know. But I know I'm fixing to eat him alive. They told him to pit his dog, and when he did, I let old Hoodie go. He caught me between my feet. I said, what the hell now? So I got me a handle real quickly. And they said, pit him. And he caught me between my feet, Richard, and I hit my belly. I stretched out, man, and I laid flat on my belly. I had my arms out like I'd been crucified. I even had my face laying on the floor. But at one time, old Hoodie, man, she'd just shredding them, Richard. I mean, shredding them, and then she'd stop and she'd look at me and wag her tail and hang her tongue out. How you like this shit, Dad? And old Chato, he'd get a Hoodie'd be letting up on him, looking at me, and Chato would try to grab his dog out from under her. And he'd have the damn tug of war over her. Of course, I was making some desperate-looking tries to get a hold of her, you know, but when you lay it on your belly, you can't.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. She wasn't biting, and one time I went, wow, I did like that and act like I caught his dog in the kidney and shook it. And he jumped up and went to running and pointing at me and screaming, he bit my dog, he bit my dog. Then it was funny. But we ended up, you know, I beat him because he threw in the towel because he couldn't take his dog away from old Hoodie.
Right.
And I couldn't seem to get a handle on her for some reason, man. She was too quick or something. Yeah.
And doing perfectly well what she was doing.
Yeah. Well, I knew I had to win this match any way I could, and I wasn't going to do it scratching.
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't we go, that one time we went down to his property and he had the horses there and
Yeah, that's the guy, you know, and he does that grabbing them bulls by the tail, them big old fighting bulls.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Called Colorado.
Yeah. You know, he hadn't seen you in a long time and he recognized you right off the bat, you know.
Almost 40 years, man. Well, he recognized me because of that match. If you remember when he stepped out with old Hoodie, he made the statement to them boys that was standing around him, them younger guys. He said, I run into this guy so many days and months and years ago.
Yeah.
Said he was a maniac.
Yeah, he said that. Yeah, he said that. That's for sure.
Said, I think he even bit my dog.
That crazy
Yeah, I tell
Texas
you, I
attitude,
seen
man.
some game dogs, man. I seen some game son of a bitches over Easter here.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, one of the gamest bitches that ever crawled across the box, her name was Banjo.
Mm.
And Mr. Roger LeBlanc bred her. You remember that name?
Yeah. LeBlanc?
Yeah,
Yep.
well, over here it's LeBlanc. They
Okay.
don't, yeah.
Yeah, they don't pronounce it.
But
Yeah.
yes, just Miss Joe and Roger.
Mm.
Yeah. Miss Joe's big in ADBA.
Mm-hmm.
But they also had a male called Shot Glass. And the bitch was called Banjo. And Shot Glass was behind the dogs I told you that I saw that was so game up in Canada.
Right.
That first time out dog had that Zeke blood in him through Shot Glass and Weta. And he beat uh, the the King's Grand Champion Gorbachev.
Mm.
You remember that name of a dog, Grand Champion Gorbachev?
I think so. It sounds familiar.
He was a big, lanky Gary Hammonds kind of dog
Oh,
from.
okay.
I think he actually come from Farley.
Right. But
You
was he
remember that
the...
name, Farley?
Yeah, I do. Was he the alligator stuff?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
he was.
Yeah.
But that puppy whooped him.
Mm.
Stopped him cold. And
Mm.
the puppy started bleeding. It was kind of like that deal with Mayor or Bayonne's, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That puppy started bleeding out his ass pretty early, and Robar said, geez, I got to pick him up. Why? He's bleeding out his arsehole. I said, yeah, he is. Well, he's going to die. I said, yeah, he is. I said, why are you going to pick him up? I think he can win.
Mm.
He said, well, the guy he belongs to is going to be pissed off if I leave him down and he dies. I said, if he was mine, I'd be pissed off if you picked him up and he died.
Yeah.
And I just drove him to it the first match at the guy, and he beat that grand champion, bro, with the first time out dog.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Impressive, man.
On gameness alone, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing, the old Zeke bite. He get that left forearm.
Yeah.
Not forearm, actually the bicep.
Mm-hmm.
And he did the same thing. He just got his legs up under him and laid down and went to sleep there. And I told you about seeing that cross that Kirkland made from that Zeke dog that John Stoop brought out of Oklahoma on old Satan's sister.
Mm-hmm.
That dog's name was JR. And that was the same thing. He beat the unbeatable dog, which was Bradley Simone Cyclone.
Mm-hmm.
And I had seen JR win a pretty easy fight. And I got over there, and Mr. Floyd, you know, he'd talk to anybody, and he talked to me even back then.
Mm-hmm.
And I was pretty young, you know, and nobody knew who I was or nothing, and he was talking to me and telling me why. You know, OJR didn't have a chance against Bradley Simone Cyclone. Dadgum, I changed my bet. And OJR made me pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he did. Robert lost the dog, but he won that match.
Yeah.
With that same hold, Richard.
Yeah.
And I come back over here, and I bought the sister to JR from Robert, and bred her to my old Deke dog, which was my first breeding off of my Ronnie Anderson dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And I got that bitch I told you that was so game in Mexico we went 2 weeks early with.
Yeah.
That was the breeding she was from.
Okay. You know, now that you mentioned that, it reminds me of talking with Howard Heinzel, you know, and it came up, you know, what did he like about, you know, the Dibo dogs and Arizona Pete and Gimp, their sire, you know, ancestors and all that, Lark and all that, you know. And of course, they, you know, their game. He mentioned their game, but he said what impressed him the most is them dogs just stayed in hold. You know, they'd take one hold for 30 minutes sometimes, and they just determined, and you know, just they wouldn't come out of hole. You know, that's what impressed him the most. Not that they were aces or anything like that, but they were just determined and game and staying whole and just, you know. And you see that
Well,
with a lot of the Daibo stuff, you know.
the deeper into it they got, and the deeper they had to get into their heart, the more determined that bite is.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you, I called it the Zeke coat. And I can name you just right off the top how many dogs I've seen use it, starting with Kirkland's JR. Then that Zeke dog that Rollbar used, the Zeke dogs that was here, that red-nosed bitch. She come out of JR's littermate sister. And Gizmo, Noogie, they were littermate sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that, you know, well, according to, again, to Heinzel, that was that holding on like that was from Hubbard's Gimp, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was his uh, observation, anyways, you know. And it just, you know, there's been a lot of years ago, but that's one of the things that he said to me that sticks with me, you know. That's how important it was, or how much of influence it had me on the time. He's like, them fucking
Richard,
dogs just stay in hold, man. You know, they don't let go.
Not only that, you look at the dogs, you look at a picture of Hubbard's Gimp or Hubbard's Bounce or Daibo or not White Rock so much because he was a little square, but
Right.
Spike,
Mm-hmm.
right on down, Mayfield stuff.
Yeah.
Even down to what is modern day and what we know is the pure stuff, like my friend out there by you's got,
Mm-hmm.
and like OTK's got some of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's them booger dogs.
Yep.
And that's about as pure Daibo as you ever gonna find.
Right.
Oh, but you know, you said Roland bred booger. Roland didn't breed booger.
Mm.
Bill bred booger.
Oh, okay. Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he
Good to
also
know. Good to know.
he didn't come back to the States till after Roland died.
Okay.
And he come back to Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that, you know, people forget. I got that stuff from Danny, you know, from Dan.
Well, I know, and I forget too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like I told you that Tito's dog won best in show at the same deal Texas was on. I was wrong. That was So Boy Stone.
Right.
But some of it looked just like Tito's Puzzle.
Yeah. Well, they use the same blood. You know, Tito got a lot of
folks in Puzzle.
Yeah.
Puzzle got a co-best in show the same night that Zeke bitch I told you.
Mm-hmm.
That died the same way in Holt. But she stopped Ricky Jones and Buford Adams with that whitehead bitch.
Mm.
Yeah. And died 5 minutes after.
Yeah.
Then they give Danny they give her to Mr. Bean, and Danny bought her from Mr. Bean and matched her into that Miss Rooster, that daughter to Jeep.
Mm-hmm. Stephen Company's champion, Miss Rooster.
I don't know who she belonged to, but I'll tell you this, that's the best Jeep dog I ever seen. That I laid eyes on myself and know was a direct offspring of Jeep.
Right. Yeah. She had a good reputation. I remember you telling me Gator, you know, how game he was, you know, or how he showed game. I forget how you put it, like, you know, something like you hadn't seen a game Jeep dog till you saw Gator against what was his name?
I told you I'd never seen a Jeep dog I'd towed a can of dog feed to until I seen Gator and Chambooga.
Yeah, Chambooga. There you go. Yeah.
But I forgot I'd seen Miss Rooster before that, and I'd have fed Miss Rooster.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna be derogatory, but there's a real famous son of Jeep out there on that West Coast that, nah.
Well, you know me, I had Jeep dogs, and
I was
we
there.
and we you know,
I witnessed that.
yes, some of them didn't make the grade, man. That's another thing when I talk to people about, they so involved in the pedigrees, how they look, and how many times this dog in the pedigree is. And I tell them, look, we called all them, a lot of the famous dogs you read about or hear about or have stuff down from. We called sons and daughters of them. So it's not, it's not. The pedigree looks nice, but if the dog ain't there to back it up, it don't mean nothing really. It don't mean shit. It just names on a paper. You know.
Yeah, and the slick, shiny paper, that really ain't even good for wiping your ass.
No, it's not. Like my buddy said one time, he go, "I never seen a pedigree scratch. Show me a pedigree that ever scratched, and I'll fucking give you $1,000."
That's kind of like what I said about that goddamn nutritionist from Cal Berkeley up in
Yeah.
Howard. How many matches has he won, buddy?
Yeah. Exactly, man. So you got to
But I
keep.
tell you now, listen, that Jeep dog, and I like the guy that had him, and I love the guy that worked him.
Yeah.
And they was up here, the guy up in north of here, even north of where that we was at there at Sam's, and they was a spitting some shit, man, and open to the world for 50,000.
Yeah.
And my big buddy, he wasn't saying much, but the old man was, and he was putting no Floyd up there, boy.
Mm-hmm. I
And
know it.
it was before Barry died. And I told Barry, I said, "Watch this." He said, "What?" I said, "I'm fixing to match in to him." He said, "You got $50,000? I said, "No, but I know a guy that does. It'll jump on that match." So I went over there and I told him, "Okay, you got it. I think it's 45 pounds." And my old big buddy, he said, "No, it'll be 46. I said, "Okay." And goddamn, we shook hands and everything, man. And it was on. And I walked away from there, and old Johnny Cash wannabe, he run straight to me. Y'all gonna put that same dog on him y'all put on car down there in the ticket?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Nate, I'll let some bitch back out to the West Coast and the hamburger meat." And he run straight over there to that old man and told him, "Don't do that, don't do that."
Yeah.
So we instantly become too good of friends to do that match. But it pissed my buddy off. Not Antonio. It pissed my other buddy off.
Right.
Yeah, because he wanted to do the match.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, well, he's kind of like Antonio and me and you. He was competitive.
Yes, sir.
He didn't care who you was.
Nope. That was his forte, man. Conditioning, handling dogs.
His dogs didn't have to be game. By God, he was game enough for the dogs and him.
Yeah. He said that at that old timers get together we had. He was talking about when he got busted and he hit the cop and all that stuff. He said, "I'm a game as my dogs. I'm gonna go out fighting. I ain't gonna quit."
That guy made him do that, Richard.
I know it. They do that on purpose.
They already knew who they was on. That whole mess was set up, brother, and it started to get one man.
Mm-hmm.
Every bit of that was rolled up to get Norman Hooten.
Right.
But look how far spread it went.
That's true. That's true, man.
Well, they used that magazine out of Dallas. Everybody in that mailing address and had their name in that magazine.
Yep.
And that old man, he printed way too explicit details.
Yeah. Too much information, man.
Yeah, he did. So we drove to my friend so-and-so's house and left there and went to his restaurant and such a town and eat chicken and left there and went to my other friend's house in such a place, And except he wasn't such and such, and he's naming towns.
Yeah, I know it. The thing is, Joe, there's a time and place for that kind of talk. Or them stories, they're great years and years later. But you don't, in real time, at the time, that's what gets people in trouble, man. Just don't
Well,
talk
look,
about it.
anything you and I talk about, hell, no, it's shit that happened way back.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
kind of like goddamn Professor Peabody
yeah,
and
yeah,
goddamn the old boy that run around
yeah,
with him.
yeah, yeah.
We can get in the Wayback Machine, and that's
Yeah,
about all
yeah,
we can do.
yeah. And the people enjoy them, and it's good. But like I said, there's a time and a place for everything. My thing is, I don't have an ego, so I don't have to build myself up, and I don't have to, it's not. If
Hey, but
hypothetically speaking, if I had dogs today, which I don't, everybody knows I don't. I don't. They can come
mm,
and look, and people that know me know I don't.
yeah,
I haven't had
yeah.
them for years, you know. But if I had a dog, I wouldn't say shit, Joe. I wouldn't. I wouldn't tell
No,
anybody, man.
no.
I wouldn't. It just,
Well, man, when I laid it down, I put my blood where I wanted it to be.
yeah,
And I still, very few people get them.
yeah.
Because
And
it ain't many of them out there to get.
right, you never had a ton of dogs, did you?
No,
You didn't have a yard of 50 dogs at any time, did you?
Not my own personal dogs,
Right,
no.
right. That's what I'm
A
saying.
couple of times I'd help people over a hump at us in a bind, and hell, I'd have 50 dogs out here, somebody else's I was totally
Yeah,
feed
yeah,
to.
yeah. That's just to help people out.
Yeah.
But your own
Well, you know
dogs,
how it was back then, hell.
yeah,
But I always had people willing to help me, too.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
that was a good thing.
Yeah. Another thing, somebody asked me to ask you about the Creole dogs. How they're bred and all that,
Well,
and just whatever you want to say about them.
well, the deal with the Creole dogs is anything with Creole's dinky in it, nobody knows how they're bred.
Okay.
Nobody. Dinky is the rodeo dog.
Oh,
She
that's
come
right.
from an old man that had rough stock.
Yeah.
And over here in Texas, back in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, plumb on up into the mid 80s, we have what we call the saltgrass circuit rodeos.
Mm-hmm.
All black. You have to belong to their association to ride in it. And Icky Schroeder, had the rough stock, the saddle broncs, the barebacks, and the bulls, the bucking bulls for them rodeos.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Jody, I'm going to tell you one thing. It ain't but one thing them fellers like to see better than one of them getting hooked up by a bull. I said, what's that, Mr. Icky? He said, turning them little bulldogs loose on that bull. And that's where she come from. And James Creel bought her for $50.
No pedigree, nothing.
No pedigree, no nothing. He bought her from Eugene Walters. We called him the Shetland. He was like Wild Bill, about 5 foot of him.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And Shetland was actually about a third cousin down the line to me, and about a third cousin down the line to James Creel, and James Creel was about a third or fourth cousin down the line from me.
Mm-hmm.
But James bought Dinky for $50. Well, he proceeded to win 3 matches with her, and I told you how many winners she towed.
Yeah.
I mean, and she's behind, well, let's see. I think, yeah, she was Foxy Lady and Penelope and Jack and Jug and all them's mama, and she was Bucky and Digger's mama.
Mm.
On the litter of Bucky and Digger, she towed an 8-time winner and a 4-time winner.
Mm.
Then she was bred to Dino and the first litter and throwed Foxy Lady, which become a 5-time winner. Then she was bred to Dino again and throwed Penelope and Jack and Jug.
Mm.
Penelope won 8 matches and Creel sold her to somebody. And now Dino was from breeding Gator to the damn Flame bitch. You know the one I'm talking about, which I told you was Satan's sister.
Right.
And that's what Creel's blood actually is. And Creel's gator is that O'Brien blood bred over a Zeke bred bitch named Stoot Squirrely.
Okay.
But it wasn't O'Brien himself.
Right.
It was a dog called Whiskey. A son of O'Brien called Lowry's Whiskey.
Usselton's O'Brien, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. More heavy Dibo stuff.
Yeah. Danny worked him.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. What?
And I tell you what, Gator come out and beat Danny.
Yeah.
That was one of Gator's wins for Creel.
Oh,
and back
okay.
then, you know,
Yeah.
old Big Buddy, he could get irate over something as simple as losing a match.
Yeah.
And he got pretty twisted up and kicked around shit over and stuff and said that about the goddamn way it is. You let your stuff get out down the road and they come back and beat you with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you think made Dinky? You think she was just a bulldog? You know how they say good dogs are where you find them. You think the way she was raised? You think hitting them bulls or what is it that just?
If you asking me what I truthfully think she come down to,
Yep.
I think she had Monk and Shinola, and I think she had Preacher Boy.
Okay. What's Preacher Boy?
That was only dogs down there, and I know them Schroeder's had one they called Schroeder's Bullet that was registered.
Okay.
But now, Icky told me he seen Dinky and told me, oh no, Leroy Brown was her daddy. But the dogs that was down there at that time was Monk Shinola dogs.
Okay.
And the Preacher Boy dogs.
And what was Preacher Boy?
That was Satan's daddy.
Okay.
Or grandpa, something like that.
Yeah.
He was a straight Dibo dog, man.
Mm-hmm. And the Monk
Shinola.
Shinola.
A lot of people don't know, but Big Fish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Big Fish used a lot of Preacher Boy dogs from Kenneth.
That's Richard Fisher. Yeah.
Yeah. And nobody knew that them was Kenneth's dogs because Kenneth couldn't be socialized with that.
Right. Right.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. And the Monk Shinola stuff was the Mayfield stuff, right?
Yeah, well,
more
Monk
Dibo.
was a half brother to Nigger.
Yeah.
And Shinola was his litter mate's sister.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same daddy. Jeff on top of both of them.
Right. More heavy Dibo. Yeah.
Oh yeah, straight Dibo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Monk's mama was a Dibo bred dog too, just a little different twist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now the Creole, you see the Carver stuff. Did he cross that stuff with the the unknown or whatever it is with the Carver stuff too, or?
I think you're probably looking at the wrong Creole. There was two Creoles.
Okay. Gotcha.
There's that old Creole from out in West Texas. Them pedigrees is way back.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't know what kind of pedigrees you're gonna see on James Creel's dogs.
Right.
Because like it said, it'll be Creel's Gator, and then behind that it says Creel breeding.
Yeah, or it says unknown. It's a just blank.
Or Creel's Flame, Creel breeding.
Yeah, like that.
Dinky Creel.
Yeah.
And Hospital Red, Creel, and all of that's, a little bit deceptive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that happens.
More than a little bit, it's just outright not true. But,
Yeah.
I tell you, out of all of the dog people in the thicket, I respected that old man more than any of the rest of them.
Yeah.
He's really about the only one I did respect, brother. Well, the rest of them, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that people understand, Joe, that permeates through the history of the breed, man, here and there. Everybody got stories like that, no matter what part of the country you from, and it's just part of I guess it's part of everything. You got some bullshit in there, just.
Well, it's strange how you can meet the best and the worst right here at your back door.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have to go halfway around the world to find one that ain't no good. Just step out the back door. They're not far to them.
Yeah. Now, when
and not that they wasn't good dog people, they just wasn't good people.
Yeah, there is a difference. Now, when you went to Canada, did you take dogs with you up there?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, I went the first time. I was sitting there, and Dan Almendarez somehow had my phone number and gave it to this guy up there, Roll Bar Kennels.
Okay.
And my phone rang one day, and this guy, you don't know who I am? Like the hell, I don't know who you are. You got a funny accent. And he told me who he was. He's Roll Bar Kennels. And he's got a dog hooked on such and such a day. And he done bought my ticket up there and back. Gonna pick me up at the airport. You know, put me up, treat me like a king. I said, man, I ain't coming to Canada. Well, I wanted you to come watch my dog. I said, I don't even know you and don't know your dog neither. Hell, I ain't coming to Canada. He said, well, from what I understood about you, you'd want to come up here. I said, what are you talking about? He said, you know what I do for a living? And I said, no. And he told me what he did for a living. And I said, really? He said, yeah. I said, well, get that ticket on down here. And I'll be up there. Well, he was one of them hotshot farmers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I go up there, and I tell you who I did meet up there, though. I met some good people.
Yeah.
Old-time dog men. The word Ben David, the captain.
Yeah.
I met Ben David, Francois Charbonneau. That name ring a bell?
Francois does. I remember there was a Canadian. It's probably him, a Canadian dog guy named.
His last name was Charbonneau.
Okay.
And he was a dog walker for Andre Giroux.
Okay.
And John Louise, he was another one. They was up in the far north of Quebec.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Ben David and Tattoo. You remember Danny Powell, Tattoo?
Yep, sure do.
Him. I met Hale Farley. I met the King and the Portuguese posse. I met McGillivray from out west. I met Hugh Heron from further on out west. I met Milton them from further on out west, and then the BC boys.
Right.
Yeah. And hell, it's a large bunch of them up there, Sean. Hell, I met Sean. He told me he watched Gizmo and Parka.
Really?
All the way from Canada. He said, I rode a fucking train all the way down there for that show.
Come down. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember meeting him when I got to Canada for the first show, and he come up to me. Hey, Joe, you remember me? And I said, no, do I remember you? He said, I come down to the thicket. And I said, Pierre. Because I told him, I said, hell, I ain't never met no Frenchman from Canada that ain't named Pierre. I'm just going to call you Pierre or Pepe.
Yeah.
You know, like Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah.
And that kid, he ended up being a dedicated dog man.
Yeah.
They scattered out there.
Yeah.
Now,
that Sean, did he have Tonka bred dogs? I can't remember.
I think he started out in Pistol Pete dogs.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking another guy. I'm thinking of
I think he's the one that bought Rawhide.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking a guy that had that champion Case, I think his name. He was a grandson of
No,
Tonka.
that guy's name was David Canada.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I think Canada was his real name. And he was from out there at God dog it. What's that the one you go into? Winnipeg. Winnipeg's the town. It ain't the province.
Okay. Toronto? No.
No, Toronto's a town. That's in Ontario.
Okay.
And you go out of Ontario into the next province.
Right.
And about 800 miles out there from down Thunder Bay is Winnipeg, Saskatchewan.
Okay.
No. I don't know. They scattered out up there, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a big country.
It is a big old country.
Massive, massive. Yeah, well, I just want to give them a little credit because a lot of people aren't familiar with the Canadian dogs or the Canadian people, but man, they've been involved for a long time and they had some damn good dogs, you know.
Well, Ben David, he's been all over the world with it.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember seeing Tattoo's name in there. He used to win all the time, man. A bunch of times, you know.
They used him Andre Giroux dogs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He lost some too,
well,
but
you know,
overwhelmingly.
Tattoo got shot over in Holland.
Yeah, yeah, right.
And
yeah.
Then the last time I talked to Ben, he called here wanting to borrow one of my little small Tonka males.
Mm-hmm.
He said something smaller than 30, because I know you got them, Joe.
Mm.
And he had a match set up with some damn kind of breed of dog from China that they thought was super bad. And he told him he wanted to put a little pit bull on it. And, you know, hell, he'd bet $100,000 over there.
Damn fight. Yeah, yeah. How long was you up there?
Up far in Canada?
Uh-huh.
Oh, man, I spent, for 20 years, I stayed up there sometimes a month and a half every year.
Nice.
Well, I met the dog men, and I went up there for a big show, you know, and a friend of mine moved up that way, and I took the old lady and kids, and we struck out, and we went all the way around the Great Lakes. And in this process, I stopped at the Can-Am boys, and I was sitting on the front porch of his house. He lived there way out of town, and here comes a cow moose and a calf and a yearling walking through the yard.
Just strolling through, huh?
Just come walking down through his yard, and I said, shit, man, you got a gun, we'll kill that calf and fry him. He said, no, kill that big one. I said, no, I'm going to kill the calf. And of course, then my daughter started crying, you can't kill the little one, so I didn't even kill none.
Yeah.
But the next morning, we look out the window, and there's a bear out there propped up on the truck looking in that camper at the kids in the back of the camper. Well, the old lady about pisses her pants, but anyway, we get the kids out. Me and a buddy of mine went back up there bear hunting, and Keith introduced us to this Indian kid, a Cree Indian, and he had one of them dogs from Farley too, the Cree Indian.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he also had a native card. And him and my oldest son was the same age, and they met. Richard, for 18 years, every summer and just about every fall, we was up there.
Nice. Beautiful country, ain't it?
Trips. I went on fishing trips and hunting trips you money couldn't buy.
Yeah, yeah. Beautiful country up there.
Oh, we went up there and moose hunting, and the damn chief game warden caught us. And me walking down the road with the damn rifle, and he pulls up, Joe, what are you hunting? I said, I'm shooting them birds. He looked at me and grinned. He said, yeah, I know you're shooting them birds, them grouse. Yeah. But he didn't care, because he knew I was up there with them Indians, and they don't have to have any license or anything.
Yeah. And there's no season for them to hunt, right? They can hunt anything, anytime, right?
Anything, anytime. And they split up the whatever they kill.
Yeah, right. Share it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's some good times, man.
It was.
Yeah.
But there again, we would have never went there and met them people, but with the bulldog.
Yeah. Take you all over the place.
All over the dadgum world.
Yeah. Well, we're just about done with the time here. That was another great show, Joe. I'm expecting a lot of comments like always, and I appreciate it. And we'll just keep doing, man, till either you ain't here or I ain't here.
Well, we wear their ears out. Eventually they'll get tired of listening to us, man.
Yeah, eventually, huh? That's all right. That's all right. It gives us something to do anyways, brother.
Oh, man, if you just need something to fill up the spot, call me. I'll talk to you.
I sure will.
Yeah. All right, brother.
All right. Thanks a lot, Joe.
Take care of it, Richard.
You too.